Okay, how's everybody doing today? Thanks for downloading the Voice of Bedlam podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. I got John and Sean here. We're going to rock and roll through the next hour of the complex world known as the NFL. Let's see what's going on. Sean, how you doing today, man?
What's up, everybody? I'm just here for another Tuesday podcast. Let's do it.
And then we got John.
What's going on, guys? Thank you all for taking the time to give us a listen. Please, if you can, make it over to iTunes if you got one of those fancy Apple devices and give us a rating and some comments and all. But also to all the people out there listening on YouTube, thank you. And
yeah, please subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Now,
much love.
Before we get the show really rolling, we have some things coming up in the next couple of days. First of all, we're probably going to start having some guests. Next Thursday, we're going to be having a guest on to talk about the draft. I'll tell you more about it when it's confirmed. And then we also have somebody penciled in for next Tuesday to come on and talk about the draft a little bit more from some different sites and things like that. But when it comes to the NFL, it sucks to start off on a negative note, but I guess we got to talk about the Ravens and Trey Walker. Now,
it's upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know, before this happened, who he was, but, he was a former fourth-round draft pick, I think, last season for the Ravens. He was pronounced dead Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. His agent, Ron Butler, told Fox News that the Miami-Dade Police Department spokesman, Detective Dan Ferrin, told the Baltimore Sun Walker was riding his Honda dirt bike, not street legal, no lights, and was in dark clothing. He was riding the bike on Northwest 75th Street, and he was struck by a woman driving a vehicle, and she wasn't hurt, but, the 23-year-old Trey Walker, Baltimore Ravens pick, he was killed he died later in the hospital. Now, this happened in Miami, where he's from. They are going to have a public viewing for him Friday, and this is at the Missionary Baptist Church, and then there will be a closed funeral for the family and everything like that. I mean, I guess, I don't know, do you guys have anything to say about that? It's pretty much just the long and short of it.
I mean, it seems like a player gits killed every off season. It's become kind of a routine thing. It's sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's upsetting, and not only that, the fact that, I've gone out on dirt bikes and things like that and had some fun with those, and sometimes, they are in questionable condition, especially one with like a faulty little clutch. that was bad. But it's unfortunate. I know the Ravens, but you know what? I think that just gives the Ravens a little more morality, because they have something more to fight for this season. They got a memory of a young man. So,
I'm sure they'll be like honoring him somehow. I don't know. Maybe they'll wear the number, whatever jersey number he had, the little sticker on the helmet or something like that. I'm sure they'll do something. That defense is usually tough, and I think now that they have that morale, to come around and overcome a tragedy in their team. There should be let's keep all eyes on these Ravens, because they're going to do some big things, because they're going to be playing with heart. Yeah, now let's keep it with the Ravens, but jump over to some more football-related stuff. Now, Rob Mandy, he's an AP Pro Football writer. He says that Ravens head coach John Harbaugh has said the team has come to an unofficial agreement with Trent Richardson. Now, Trent Richardson, everybody remembers him. He's only 25. I did not realize that he was only 25.
Yeah. He was only drafted 4 years ago.
I know, but I'm just saying, he came out, he was a big deal, he fizzled out, he's already done, and I'm like, I just thought that would have took longer to happen. But anyway, they've come to an unofficial agreement with the 25-year-old running back. Like I said, he was the number 3 overall pick out of the 2012 draft, coming out of Alabama, going to Cleveland. Now, Cleveland unloaded him just after the second game of his second season over to the Colts. And after the 2014 season, or the he was released by the Colts, and then he signed with, who was it, the Raiders?
Yeah.
And then got cut before final cut,
yeah.
and he wasn't even on a roster last year. But, I mean, it looks like they're having him come in as a number 2 for Justin Forsett, who had 641 yards on 10 games last year.
He needs help over there. And not only that, there's a lot more offensive weapons getting involved over there in Baltimore. So, yeah, watch out. And not only that, Steve Smith's going to be coming back, and this is going to be like his last year. So, and he's going to fight. So, watch out for these Ravens.
Yo, one thing I was surprised about, and I think you were too, Sean, when we were talking about it before, I didn't realize he had 17 touchdowns. I thought that. Yeah. I didn't think.
I would.
He only has 3.3 yards a carry, but I did not realize. I thought he had far less than that. Like I said, he fizzled out in no time.
Yeah, he hasn't really been what everyone thought he was going to be.
Yeah, that's, number 3 overall pick, running back.
But maybe as a number 2,
he had an all right rookie season with Cleveland, but then he hasn't been anywhere near what he was projected to be since then.
But they also, I think they also still have that Taliaferro guy there in the backfield, and that working
Taliaferro, Lorenzo Taliaferro. Yeah, he's an all right.
Yeah, they'll be able to rotate people around like they were last year. They're gonna rotate people around because I know how their backfield worked because I drafted Justin Forsett in my fantasy league, so I kept a big eye on him, and with him getting hurt, kind of hurt me a little bit. Between him and Stu, go figure, man. I can't get right when it comes to the running backs.
It's going to be interesting to see how much playing time Trent Richardson actually gets there.
He'll be about like I said, he's going to be like number 2.
That's what I see. I think
number 2.
I see Taliaferro probably being number 2, and then Trent Richardson maybe. On a 3rd down and short or something like that, they might throw him in there just to see what he can do.
But let's remember,
know.
Forsett only played in 10 games last year. Forsett goes down. So he might be coming in, at a increase.
He got hurt last year, right?
More than half the season.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he played in 10 games last year.
Yeah, so that's more than half the season, though. Well, that's better than some of these other.
Oh, you're saying he played in more than half? I thought you were saying he missed. All right. But if you guys are good there with the Ravens, I want to get back on some stuff we were touching on with the last show, talking about the league meetings in Boca Raton, Florida. All right.
There's a lot going on.
Now, there's the first thing we're really going to touch on is the rule proposals. Now, we spoke about some of the bigger ones the other day, but we have a lot more. We're going to get into about 10 of them, some longer than others, and then also spinning off this, there's a lot of people there doing interviews, so we got some things from the Rams GM, the Giants owner, Green Bay's coach, so we're going to get into everything they're talking about, but first, let's kick it off. Now, we first reported, because this is what was being said, but Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk, originally everyone was saying that 2 personal fouls, it's being proposed that 2 personal fouls would have any player ejected. Now they're saying that's not what's being proposed. Any 2 personal fouls would be an automatic ejection. They're saying that that's not correct, and what it actually is being proposed is that 2 unsportsmanlike conducts will get you ejected. Now, let's hear what these 2 guys got to say about it, and then I'll tell you what Richard Sherman's got to say about it. So what do you think about this? About 2 unsportsmanlike?
Go for it, Sean.
Do you think it's a problem, good, bad, indifferent? Like, what's the deal?
It doesn't really make a difference to me either way. I mean, 2 personal foul or 2 unsportsmanlike conduct, I guess, is more justifiable for an ejection, I guess, because, I mean, that's when you're going over to the sideline, screaming at a ref or something, or when, you try to take a player's head off or something like that. So I guess something like that, or, taunting or whatever the case may be, I guess if they want to eject a player after doing something like that.
Twice,
okay. To me, I mean, the face masks and the other thing, if you want to make it an ejection rule, something like that to me would be more justifiable for an ejection, but I think the whole thing is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have been okay with it if it was just personal fouls, because you're talking about face masks and stuff. A lot of that stuff is incidental. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes.
But they're only talking about unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't really like it that much, but I'm not going to cry about it now. Do you know what I mean?
So my whole thing is this now. They want to not impede on the flow of the game, right? Well, now these challenges of unsportsmanlike are going to have to be under review.
If it's passed. This isn't official yet. It's just proposed.
It'll have to be reviewable.
That's true, because you got to defend yourself. Like,
exactly. I mean? The players' union's going to be like, well, what? So now you're going to say, because all it takes is that one player that will get it overturned and then didn't get to play the rest of the game and his team lost.
Exactly, and the refs don't like throwing people out. They don't want to be the determining factor. Most of the refs say that they would rather throw the flag and then let Goodell in the office deal with it on Monday, and he can miss next game. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Mind you, Odell Beckham, Josh Norman, if this was a rule last year, they wouldn't have been thrown out. There was not 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties to one of those players in that game. So neither one of them would have been thrown out anyway. I don't know about the Burfict play. What about the playoff game with Vontaze Burfict? Do you think but did he get 2 unsportsmanlikes? Does anybody remember?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Basically, though, he was trying to just hurt people. All right, he tried to do a WWE move with the freaking ankle lock, man.
And here's what I don't like about this. Now, I think the whole thing is ridiculous as it is, but here's the thing: if a player does that twice in a game and you want to eject him, okay, but 2 unsportsmanlike conducts where, I mean, an unsportsmanlike conduct could be, taunting a guy. It could be just out there on the field talking trash like football players do. Now you're telling me if a player does that twice in a game, he's going to get ejected?
Get this, if he does it against his own team, he's going to get ejected too. If you're on my team and the ref hears me saying some I don't know, a lot of people were saying during the Beckham Norman fight that there was homophobic slurs being said. If you say that to somebody on your team, they want to eject you. That's
once or twice.
Well, I guess it would be put into the equation. So, if you curse out your quarterback,
wow,
and, they're really trying to crack down. You guys remember when Colin Kaepernick got flagged for saying something?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
they did work it in that you could do that. So now, even if you're yelling at your own team, if they're going to throw a flag, that's one of your 2 strikes. But real quick, we talked about that enough. Richard Sherman, of course, is against it. Do you know what I'm saying? But what's funny, what Richard Sherman said, he's really coming at Goodell. He's saying he's just another suit. All right. Now, let me tell you what Sherman said, but I kind of like it and I kind of don't. All right. He said Goodell is just another suit, which I agree with, but he said that he can never understand he can never understand football. Goodell can't, because he's never stepped on the field, and also he's never been flagged for personal fouls, and he doesn't understand that sometimes, basically I'm paraphrasing, that the refs got it all wrong. But I want to talk about his statement a little. Fine, I'm cool with you saying Roger Goodell is just a suit. I'm cool with that. What I don't like is Richard Sherman saying that because he never played football, he can't talk, similar to when Sheldon Richardson was getting a lot of trash talked on him. And he said if you want to talk about football, maybe you could go have kids, they could play in the NFL, and then you could talk about football. Hey guys, I'm sorry, your egos don't have to be as big as your paychecks. Shut up. You got to play in the NFL to know football. Shut up. I'm sorry. Like, this is ridiculous. No. Okay, and on top of that, you're saying he knows nothing of sculpting the game, Richard Sherman. Think about this. Wellington Mara, all right? The dude who pretty much founded the Giants, all right?
Okay.
The Duke is written on every single NFL football. The Duke is Wellington Mara. That is on there because his thumbprints are all over the game. He helped to design the game of football. Never played it. Richard Sherman thinks people like that don't know anything about football. He's an idiot. You went to Stanford and you're an idiot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's not that bright, but not only that,
he probably beat me in a math quiz. Like, I'm not going to say he wouldn't, but, well, maybe not math. He definitely beat me in English, though.
he'll definitely beat you with the cool hairdo, though.
Hey, my mohawk could go to battle with his dreads any day of the week.
All right, well, let's put up a poll.
All right, but let's keep it moving here. We'll start. We'll go into some of the other proposed rule changes.
Oh, man.
All right, the Ravens.
How many?
We're gonna run through them.
Well, how many? No, how many rule changes were proposed?
19. We're gonna talk about 10.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I was about to say. I was like, all right, strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to be on a long ride.
No, this happens every year. Every single team can put in a proposal, so can the competition committee. Normally, when a team puts in a proposal, nothing happens with it. But what it does is it starts the ball rolling for the competition committee to become involved later in years.
Right.
Just like all the talk, which we will get to, about the extra. Well, let's just start with there.
Let's go.
Now, last year, they did the 15-yard extra point. They tested it out in the Pro Bowl before, and then they did it all season long. That was never made official. Now it's being motioned that this will be official and this will be what it is from here on out.
That's good.
What do you think?
I like it. I mean, for the first time ever, I think a couple of years ago, I think it was a Saints game, I saw someone actually miss an extra point from like the original point, that they kicked the extra point. I like it because it makes it's not an automatic extra point anymore.
Exactly.
It makes the game that much more interesting.
I got to disagree with you guys. I don't like it. First of all, not that it ever happens, but I think you will never again see a fake field goal. Do you know what I mean? Go for the fake extra point, run for two.
Maybe.
That's never going to happen again.
Maybe.
But besides that,
What, you think we'll see another a drop kick?
Wow, is that even legal though? I don't understand the drop kick.
The last person to do it
who was that?
Doug Flutie.
Yeah, it was Doug Flutie. It was. I saw it on his biography show thing. But getting a little off topic. But
what? We're talking about extra points.
Yeah,
How is that off topic?
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I don't like it. I don't like any changes in the game of football, to be honest. I always think they're trying to soften it. I don't like. I don't want to be the team. It's an extra point. It's a point after touchdown. It's a free kick.
So then what should it be to you?
Yeah, how does moving the extra point back make the game softer? How does it make the game? Because you're saying. Because
no. On that doesn't make the game softer. But I don't like. I don't like being determined on an extra point.
So then,
if
how do
we're
you
going to
fix
win it or not?
How do you fix it?
I don't think they ever should have changed it. I don't think they ever should have changed
extra
it.
points don't really come into.
I think it's too
They don't
easy.
come into play a lot when it.
And I don't want them to. I don't want them to. Now they do.
Don't you kick at the same level, almost through all levels?
I don't know.
But even moving it back,
college,
is not
and then
really
you're going to go to the pros, and then you're going to kick at the
there
same level.
was far more extra points missed this year. I don't understand.
Exactly.
But how many actually decided games though?
Well, I mean, you got the computer over there. There's stats on it. Believe me, this is a big talking point.
I don't know. I like it because the automatic or the extra point was automatic before.
It was something like
except for that one kick I saw in that Saints game, 7 years ago.
It was something like 98.5% made before they moved it, and this year it was down to 92.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you're saying it's not that big of a drop, but
it's not that big of a drop because they're professional kickers.
No, that's true.
They should be missing extra points in the first place.
They only moved it 5 yards, right?
Well, no, they moved it from the 2.5, and now it's a 15-yard kick. So they doubled it basically.
Yeah. So you're a professional. You should be able to kick that.
Yeah.
No, because the end zone is 10 yards.
10 yards.
And then
I don't know where they moved
it back. I think 3 yards.
No, they snap it from the 10 or the 8, and then the kicker's 7 yards back.
They snap it from the 2, I think, to the 10 because it's 8 yards. I'm pretty sure from the point of the snap to the holder. So that's where they kick it from.
Okay.
On field goals, on
No, it was snapped from the 2 to begin with.
kicking from
That's
the
how it
5,
was to
though.
begin with.
If it's that, because there's 10 yards in the end zone. 10 yards, so you'd be kicking it from the 5 if it's 15 yards.
They're not kicking. I think they're kicking from the 15-yard line, making it a 25-yard extra point, and then it becomes 32 when the kicker drops back. That's how it works out. If it was a 15-yard kick, that's what it was originally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Either way, you know what? It's, for the game of football, okay? All right?
You're emphasizing the foot.
Football.
I don't want more kicker in my game. I'm sorry. I just don't.
The deciding
I get it,
factor being
but it is
on the
what it
person who actually uses their foot to put it to the ball.
Well, and Ndamukong Suh uses his feet a lot too, though.
But that's another story for another day.
That's his old ways, apparently. All right, he doesn't stomp people out anymore.
Stomp
okay?
them out. All right, but let's look at this one. The Ravens would like to give each team 3 challenges and expand reviewable plays, meaning pretty much make everything reviewable and give everyone an extra replay.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, I
The
like
simple one.
Integrity of the game, because if anything, if there is a mistake, you can correct it right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it slows things down a little bit, but no, I'd rather the call be right. Do you know
Exactly,
what I mean?
because
And I'm
everybody
not
be
wishing
sitting
the
on
football
boo,
game's
boo,
over.
boo.
How
We
many
could've
times
won
have
the
you
game.
seen a challengeable play where the refs clearly got it wrong on the field and then the team didn't have a challenge left? And
Yeah, ridiculous.
So then the call stood.
I also think that if you get all of your challenges wrong, you know how you used to get awarded that extra challenge?
Yes.
All right.
When you won.
If they were going to do that, if you keep getting them right, you get that third one right, why shouldn't you get a fourth one? You got them all right. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear you, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe the refs are having a bad
They
day.
keep giving you the stick, Jimmy, and you keep giving it back.
All right, let's move it on. If the QB hits the ground, he can't throw the football. Let's explain this a little. Peyton Manning did this a lot, especially as he got older. Dive down.
As he
hit
got
the ground.
older.
John's boy over there,
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
He dives down, hits the ground, not get touched, jump up, throw the ball. They want to make that a penalty now. I don't know how it would be worded, but it is proposed that a quarterback can no longer do that. What is being said is that if he hits the ground, it's being tossed up, perhaps he could still run. He just wouldn't be able to throw. That's what they're proposing. Or it's also a possibility that the play would just be dead and it would be a sack.
I don't agree with that, because if it's behind the line of scrimmage, you should be able to throw the ball.
I agree. Yeah, exactly. It's
It
still
should be the same way that it is. Just because, especially in conditions in Florida, which is swampy. You know what I mean? You're gonna get slick. You're gonna slip. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And then you're gonna move around, and then you're gonna want to make that. And then there's gonna be people that are gonna give up on the play, and then it's gonna cause a big play to happen. So no, you know what? No, leave it alone.
Yeah, the defense should be play disciplined. And
Leave that alone. Exactly. You know what I mean? There should be somebody, spying on that QB. Put a linebacker on him and take him out.
It's going to extend. Well, I shouldn't say it's going to extend plays. It's going to keep plays extended, because how many times do you see a quarterback roll out of the pocket? Maybe he slips and falls, and then what you're saying? If he falls, then the play is blown dead?
No.
It would either the play
But
it would either be dead or he could no longer throw it.
Once you're
What
past the
I'm-
line of
but
scrimmage,
what
you're a
I'm
runner
saying-
anyway.
Oh, we're talking behind the line of scrimmage.
Because if he runs past the line of scrimmage, you can't throw the ball.
Oh yeah,
No, you can't do that anyway.
What I'm saying is that if a quarterback rolls outside the pocket and he falls down, the play is blown dead now. I don't like that. No, I like the fact that if a quarterback can roll outside the pocket, still make that throw, he should still be able to make that throw.
Yeah, so you're opposed to the rule change.
Yes.
These rules aren't set. These are just proposals.
I know that.
They're proposals.
Now, this one should be a quick and easy. Washington wants no OT in preseason. I could care less.
Yeah, nobody cares about preseason. It's just a way for us to kind of see who's
Evaluate.
going to make the third and fourth string.
I will say one thing, though. It kind of sucks for those really on-the-bubble guys, because if I'm, an undrafted free agent out of some school like Newberry or something like that, rookie free agent, and my team gets overtime, and you know what? That gets me 10 minutes extra playing time. That's not going to happen, and that's kind of sucks. Do you know what I mean? For that particular player, because all it is another, stage. But I mean, it's preseason, and I really don't care that much.
What was that rule proposal again? I missed
no OT in preseason.
No,
The game just ended.
Who cares?
Okay.
Who cares?
That was my original thing.
You have a
too, but-
tie on your preseason schedule, your preseason record. Who cares?
Yeah.
Preseason doesn't mean anything anyway.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, but I'm saying the longer audition each player can get, a little bit better. But, everybody's scared of injuries, but that's enough on that. This is a... What, you got something to say about that?
No, it's just I'm so what they're trying. If that who I wonder who made that proposal.
Washington.
Washington made that proposal about the. Oh man, yeah, they need everything that they.
They need as big of an audition as they can have.
Exactly.
They need as much practice as they can get. I mean, they did win the division.
They
though.
In the words of most people that say disrespectful things, with no disrespect, Washington, you should have thought of something else. But moving on,
You think they just threw that out there, like, hey, what about this idea?
Like, who's thinking about it that much?
How about
I mean, we got to go
Cupcake
back.
Tuesdays?
We got to go back and see. I guess they probably played it in an overtime game in preseason. I don't even know if they keep track of that. But let's get off of it. This is a big one. And it can go a couple different ways. Talk of moving the touchback line to the 25. Balls that go in the end zone will now be spotted at the 25-yard line. What do you think?
This is all about field position, man. You're talking about now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like you said earlier, that means that maybe kickers are not going to try to kick that ball out through the end zone
Exactly.
because there's if the kicker
They're trying to pin them deep.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to try to pin them deep because if there's no return, the receiving team is going to get the ball in the 25. So now those kickers are going to be like, all right, well, let's try to pin these guys back. I'm not going to kick it out of the end zone,
Which is kind of
so now
productive.
you're almost forcing the receiving team to make a return if they want, or if you wanted to pin them inside, their own 25.
Which would then be counterproductive because the reason why the kick was moved back in the first place was so there would be more touchbacks, therefore less injuries because it's the most injury-plagued play. So it'd be kind of counterproductive. And I also, because if they're going to try and pin them back, you got all those collisions again. But at the same time, they're saying maybe no one will take the ball out of the end zone because they'll be like, oh, we're going to get it on the 25. I'll just take a knee there. So it could go either way. I don't like it. Do not shorten the field. No.
Here's the
That's
thing,
why I don't like it.
And if you're going to make that much of a huge change with
That'd be
things,
a major change.
then you know what? Then the kickoff needs to be treated like a punt. If you can kick the ball to the 1 yard line on a kickoff from the tee, because think about all these specialty kickers that are in the league right now. They come from rugby. They come from soccer style. They can put the ball in the spot. So if you can kick a kickoff instead of doing an onside kick, and you can pin them at the 1 yard line, just like you could if you had a good punter. Then I would agree to it.
Yeah, but
because if you gamble and miss and then it touchbacks, then they get it at the 25.
Well, I think that's how it would go. I mean, just like
That's not how it goes, because if you kick a kickoff.
Yeah, you said onside kick before you lost me there.
Yeah. Well, onside kick, is a part of a kickoff. It's a kickoff procedure. But if you kick that out of bounds, that's an illegal procedure.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you're saying if the ball bounces out, they no longer get it at the 40 or the 35? Okay, I see what you're saying there.
Then get rid of that.
Okay. Well, no, that would be cool because then you could coffin corner kick the kickoff. Is basically what you're saying. That's what
and
you
with
meant by
all these
treat it like
specialty
punt.
kickers, they're going to be able to put the ball on the spot.
That would be cool.
You're going to see a whole lot more strategy on just kickoffs alone going into this year if that rule does get
man, now I'm really torn on it. Because I mean, like if Coughlin was still in the league and coaching my team, he'd be telling him to kick it out the back of the end zone, and I wouldn't like it then. Well,
that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's what coaches were probably telling their kickers all the time.
Yeah.
Last year at least, because I mean, getting the ball at the 20, that's standard procedure. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now with this going 5 yards, further downfield, that's going to set up, a lot of more strategic kickoffs where the coach is going to say, hey, don't kick the ball out of the end zone. Try to, pin them inside at least the 20-yard line, if not, back farther than that.
I did not think of it from this perspective. You guys are really kind of talking me into this. I think we're going to have more action the way you're saying it. Yeah, like you're saying, if the ball goes out of bounds, it's not a penalty.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm
It's
down
all
with that.
about field position, and this is
You'd really have an opportunity to pin them back further
exactly.
than usual.
It's gonna
Yeah.
make it's gonna make the start of a game that much more interesting.
All right, you guys are kind of. I think you pulled me over to the other side. Let's keep going. Delay a game if a team calls a timeout and is out of timeouts. I thought this was already a rule.
So pull a C-Web when he was at Michigan.
Yeah,
He's like, hold up, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wolverines.
Yeah, all right, yeah, because it's March Madness time, so I thought
We will not talk March Madness. No.
Well, I didn't say that we were, but I was just saying it's March Madness time, and and the drop that I just made happened to be in a national championship. So I thought that was kind of funny. He called a timeout when he didn't have one.
Here's the thing with
Caused the Fab Five.
the thing with that is if you don't have a play set and you're calling a timeout, like you're running over the ref, like timeout. You probably
You're gonna
get a delay of game anyway because the play clock is gonna run out. So
Yeah.
I don't really see this rule being that big of a deal in the first
Yeah,
place.
I already thought it was a rule, so I'm going to say I'm okay with it.
So even if that goes through, I don't think anything's really gonna change.
All right, we talked about expanding the horse collar rule. I don't want to get back into that. They're saying that usually you have to get your hand inside the shoulder pads, but now they're saying even if you just grab the stitched on name, it would be a penalty. Okay, we got two more kind of big ones. Let's go with this one first. No more chop blocks at all, even in the trenches. So what this is then saying, if a guard's hitting the tackle, the defensive tackle low, the center can't come in and hit him high. They want to make that a penalty. I think that's going to be too hard to call, and I think it's going to happen incidentally a lot. I'm not that down with it. Why are you cool with it?
I'm cool with it because with all these players getting hurt and all, and these quicker DNs, these offensive linemen are required to make quick movement, and they're big boys.
A lot of weight.
So, yeah, you can't just chop block somebody and then try to put them out for the rest of the game because she was giving you a hard time. Those days are done.
What do you think about it, Sean?
I don't really have an opinion on it either way, to be honest.
Yeah, see, the only reason why I don't like it is, I think it's going to happen incidentally all the time. It's such a mix-up in there, and I think it's going to destroy the running game, and I think it might get your quarterback killed. You got to look at it from that
If it
perspective,
does
too.
go through, I can see it being one of those things where you're going to see flags thrown for it,
Yeah.
and nothing actually happened with it. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like it.
Oh, it'll get picked up,
They're
you're
going to throw the flag, and then they're going to be like, oh, there was no penalty on the field for a chop block.
All right.
Yeah, we'll
Okay. Now, this is the one that I think is another real big one. Not as big as moving the touchback line, but everybody sees the tablets that all the players and coaches have now. They're only allowed to look at still photographs. In the Pro Bowl this past year, they experimented with seeing basically the game film. Do you know what I mean? Like live and watching plays, instant replay. They're talking about making that standard practice where everybody could be looking at their tablet on the sidelines watching video. What do you think, John?
Why weren't they doing it already?
Spygate.
Yeah, but then at least then everybody has everybody's stuff, and then everybody's equal.
It's fair. It's a level playing field.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you know what? Then I can, I know I didn't say it on the podcast, but I've always said that the Patriots Super Bowls in that era need to have an asterisk. And then when people are like, "Hey,
I agree.
why is there an asterisk there?" Well,
Because you cheated.
because there was speculation of cheating, and there was a lot of tampering with things. So they get an asterisk.
This is how I see it. You got one says Vinatieri, one says Tuck rule. Can't forget about the Tuck rule in the championship. All right, and then you got Spygate. Then you got Deflategate. It's always going to be said. Sorry, people from New England. It's always going to be said.
Yeah, here's the thing, because I'm gonna make a.
sorry.
I know you're a baseball guy, right? If
True.
Pete Rose can't be in the Hall of Fame because he gambled, right?
Yeah,
But
he should be in the Hall of Fame because it's about what he did on the baseball field, not what he did off the baseball field.
But the Patriots also cheated, and and I guarantee it, Bill Belichick's going to be in the Hall.
Well, I hate Bill Belichick, and I hate the Patriots. So
totally different, though. I agree with you that it should be more on the field. The reason how he's different from the Patriots is
he cheated
gambled
on the field.
No, he gambled on sports, which then means, are you throwing games? That's why it's such a big deal. They're not going to say the Patriots were throwing games. Do you know what I mean?
No, because they were cheating.
The Black Sox through the World Series.
What are you talking about?
Seriously, the World Series that got paid off. They threw the game. They call it the Black Sox. It was the White Sox. They threw the whole World Series.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They took a dive. It was I'm not even going to say I know what decade it was, but we're talking before our parents were born. We're talking about when people like Yogi Berra played, and when people like Babe Ruth played. They threw a World Series at one time and got paid off to do it. You guys really have never heard about this?
I don't.
They made movies.
Baseball.
Neither do I. They made movies about it.
Oh,
I do, but I seriously don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. I remember, the last time I watched baseball, like actively, David Justice was still an Atlanta Brave. So,
wow, that's going back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been a hot minute. But honestly, going back into football, those Patriots need to have an asterisk because they cheated on the field. They had coordinators and people videotaping the defensive signals, and now with technology, you can't avoid the fact that people have video now. So now they have to just use it now. Videos on everything, man. You got, yeah, exactly. So, and with the added angles and things, we're going to see more intelligent moves on the fly with these teams. They're going to be able to make quicker adjustments, and we're going to see better games. If you want to talk about the integrity of the game, give them a tool to make the game more effective for them to go out on the field and become, good at their job. It would be like me being a carpenter and being like, I'll give you a hammer and maybe a saw, but I'm just going to give you a handsaw. I got these others, like electric saws over here, but you can't touch those. You ain't ready for those yet. You ain't ready to work with those yet.
But I was going to bring this up later, but you guys really got into the Patriots. Now, Robert Kraft has written a letter to Roger Goodell asking him to reinstate the first-round draft pick loss from Deflategate and to lift Tom Brady's suspension. I don't know why. The Tom Brady part, is in the, the U.S. Court of Appeals, the Second Circuit. All right, you know what I mean? So why is he writing a letter asking to get this stuff back? They're in court. I don't know what this is going to do.
It's just bringing unnecessary attention to their squad.
Yeah, I think it's just to create media hype, to make Robert Kraft and all them and all the Patriots just look like, oh, look at us and boo-hoo. They're being mean to us because we're great and da-da-da-da-da. It's not going to do anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Patriots. I believe that they stole a Super Bowl from my boys, even with Jake Delhomme at the helm. But
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because because your boys lost the following year.
That was the Spygate year.
Yeah. Well, do you don't think Spygate was happening before that? Before they got
no, it probably was.
No, everyone was. It was allowed, and then it was no longer allowed.
Yeah,
that was common practice to be filming the teams like that. It was at one time allowed. They then made it illegal. Patriots kept doing it. Got caught red-handed.
They still cheated.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they drew up a scheme to do this. They just kept on. When it became a rule.
All I'm hearing you're saying is that the Patriots still cheated.
Believe me, I got no love.
I got no love for them Patriots.
But let's get back to these annual meetings because, like I said, some of the GMs and stuff are talking. Now let's kick it over to the St. Louis. No, wait. Los Angeles Rams. Mm-hmm. And Les Snead, who's the Rams GM, says Case Keenum is our starting quarterback.
Because they're going back back to Cali.
Now we're gonna get muted.
Why? Hey, what? I'm just saying. What?
Don't mute us.
But come on, that was
But
beautiful.
what about this? Case Keenum, starting quarterback. How do you feel about it? I got some stuff on him.
Good luck, Case Keenum. That's all I can say.
Well, let me tell you this. He says right now Case is going to come and be our starting quarterback opening days when we do OTAs. Okay? He said he earned it. We were a slumping football team at the end of the year last year, and he comes in, wins 3 out of 4, and basically drove us down the field to kick the game-winning field goal to win 4 straight, and we missed it. That's a direct quote from CBS Sports. Now, Keenum played in 10 games during his first 2 years, but with the Texans, he had 11 touchdowns to 8 interceptions and 7 fumbles.
Terrible.
In his 1 year with the Rams, he won 3 of 4 games when he came in and replaced Foles, threw for 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, a fumble.
Case Keenum is a backup. Let's be
he's
real
a backup.
about this.
He's a backup. He's not a starter. The fact that he finished those 3 out of 4 games with 4 TDs, 1 INT, and a fumble. That's 2 giveaways, though. That you can't give the ball away in the NFL. You cannot give the ball away, especially when you're supposed to be the field general.
But the real field general.
And playing in that division, they got a big uphill slope to go.
But the star of that team is not going to be whoever lines up behind center. It's going to be whoever lines up behind quarterback, and that's going to be Todd Gurley. Playing in 13 games last year, broke 1,000 yards, 4.8 a carry, 71-yard long, 10 touchdowns.
But like I said, he's gonna get the bug.
3 fumbles. 3 fumbles. 3 fumbles. No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He played great. He only had 1 lost. But you put the ball on the ground, you put the ball on the ground. I don't care if we got it back. You still put the ball on the ground. You got to fix that.
Yeah, you can't put the ball on the ground. You have to hold on to it, and you have to make a play because you are a quarterback.
Oh, so are we talking Coughlin to the Rams now?
Coughlin to the Rams? Oh, man.
No, it was a joke. It was
man.
Tiki Barber, high and tight. Tiki Barber fumbling problems.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say. I was like, yeah, dude.
High and tight.
That old man doesn't get a job anymore. He better just enjoy retirement.
Eagles wanted him.
No, they didn't.
I would have taken him, too.
Yes, they did, except he wanted to bring his whole staff.
Yeah.
And the Giants wouldn't release McAdoo and Spags, and then he said he didn't want the job. They called him back for a second interview.
I absolutely would have taken him.
They called him back for a second interview, and that's why the Giants jumped on McAdoo, because they were afraid he was going to leave with Coughlin. That's what they say went down. But let's stick with the Giants and talk about...
Already.
It's not that big of a thing. It's not really about the Giants.
What's happening?
John Mara, the owner, came out and said this year was a setback when it comes to concussions for the NFL. After the NFL finally admitted that there was a link between football and CTE. The NFL released a report saying that there were 271 total concussions in 2015, which was up considerably from 206 in 2014. The NFL also called it a system failure when Case Keenum clearly suffered a concussion and was not removed by the concussion spotter, who is capable of stopping the game at any time to take out any injured player. What do you guys think about the CTA?
Well, it's unfortunate because, there was a lot of, greats that we've lost. Junior
Seau, yeah. That was a real sad story.
Not only that, just, all the old school players that were taught to lower your head,
And all the players that nobody ever heard of.
Yeah.
That got hurt and never even made a name for themselves, never even made any money.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
let's just put it this way. If you don't know who those players are, then you need to go watch NFL films and go brush up on your history because...
No, but I'm talking about a random backup center from 1972. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
that nobody knows who got those concussions, who didn't make any money and got the concussions in practice and now has CTE. Yeah. That's who was really doing this. People like that who couldn't afford the medical bills. That's how this whole lawsuit CTE thing initiated.
Well, when you are working in a job site, okay, you are protected under OSHA and all these things. There's regulations in order to maintain a safe working environment. This has been a problem for a long time. How many, like, we were on the tail end of the generation where it was like, is it broken? Then go back in the game.
Yeah, I kind of disagree, though. I mean, certain jobs, because you know what you're signing up for. Being in the military is a job, but like, I don't think
take care of their people when they get home. But that's different
different. I agree with you. Total different podcast. But
so if anything, you just made a great,
But what I'm
comparison
saying is
to the NFL not taking care of their people.
But a military guy isn't going to complain when he got shot at. A military guy's expecting to get shot at least, I mean, he should be, in my opinion, if you're in war. I think a football player, if you're going to play football, you might get a concussion.
Yeah, but you would hope that your boss is doing everything in their power to maintain your safety.
They are.
Just like as a soldier would hope that his squad leader and his generals are, their intel is good enough to keep him alive.
You're absolutely right. And they didn't have all this scientific, all this education going on back then, so I don't blame the old timers, because they may not have known. But nowadays we do know, if you sign up for football, you might get a concussion. If you don't want a concussion, don't sign up for football. That's how I see it from here on out. And I do think they are trying to make it safer. I mean, John Mara is like one of the best owners. Them and like the Rooneys from Pittsburgh. They're those old school NFL families who really do seem to care about the player. And most players who leave those organizations say that they do.
They're your workers.
They're trying to fix it.
It's your
but
product.
It's a scientific. It's doctors. We don't know that much about the brain.
Exactly.
You know
So
what I mean?
we need to be working closely with the medical community and making sure that this information is being shared openly.
Well, just throwing in on there. That's why you saw those was a couple players from San Francisco that retired at
real early.
Early in their careers.
First round draft pick.
Because they were afraid of the potential head injury, the head injuries and the repercussions that would come from that after they retired. They didn't want to deal with it.
And then not only that, all the treatments and stuff for those diseases are usually filled with man-made compounds that cause even more ailments for you.
Yep. And different types of addiction problems.
Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely right.
So, it's that's why I'm saying you got to take care of your employees. And now now that everything was, put on the spotlight with that,
they were kind of forced.
That documentary, then the movie came out, and then
Junior Seau's suicide was a big.
That was
shooting himself in the chest so they could study his brain.
That was big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so sad.
It was. But, wow, second sad note of the Voice of Bedlam podcast.
I know, right? Like, you just made me
get real somber
because,
around here.
because, and I paused for a minute, and I apologize to the listeners, but I just went back because I can remember Junior Seau strapped up in those Chargers gear, just leveling people.
I feel like Junior Seau's jersey sold so he was probably one of the biggest selling jerseys in the mid '90s.
Yeah, probably.
They have
other than
stats
Raiders
on that stuff.
gear.
We should look that up one day.
We should.
But let's keep going. Also at these meetings, kicking it over to Green Bay, Mike McCarthy, the head coach, confirms that the team is moving forward from receiver James Jones. Now, I mean, as a Giants fan, we had James Jones on our roster, and God, could we have used him? And then they unexpectedly cut him. He goes to Green Bay. What do you have? 4 touchdowns in the first 2 games. He was their leading receiver. He was their leading receiver on the year. Fell off at the end, but the opening of his year was great. I would take him as a number 4 on my squad anytime. Hopefully, he can play special teams though if he's a number 4.
I think the Packers are probably looking to get Jordy Nelson back, Randall Cobb, who he didn't have a great season this year, and neither did Devontae Adams. They were looking for those 2 guys to fill in for Jordy Nelson. So maybe they're just saying, all right, well,
what happened?
Nice to know you, but we're going in another direction. We got Jordy Nelson coming back.
What happened with these
And
Green
then
Bay
James
Packers,
Jones
though?
will he'll get a job
But
somewhere
Jordy
else.
Nelson is a receiver over 30 coming back from an ACL injury.
He's still a top 10 receiver
Come
in
on,
this
dude,
league.
an ACL though, over 30.
He's a top-
That's a
Yeah.
big
He's a-
deal.
he's
Look
a
at
top-
Cruz.
he's a top 10
That's a
receiver in this
patella.
league.
But look at Cruz. That's a patella. He ain't played in 18 months. This dude is older than Cruz. It is a more common injury. I'm just saying, you don't know.
You're talking
Jordy
about
Nelson.
Aaron Rodgers' #1 target out there.
Yeah,
in
but
Green
you're
Bay.
talking about a man who's over 30 that tore his ACL. Well, nobody comes back good except for AP
what
off
I'm
an ACL.
saying, I just got done saying they're looking to Devontae Adams and they're looking to Randall Cobb to fill those shoes.
But why would you get rid of your leading receiver? I mean, he
don't
is
know.
old.
That's,
He is far older than Jordy Nelson. But I'm saying, as a backup plan, Jordy Nelson could be pup listed. You don't know.
You know where he would have a nice little landing spot?
Jones, who? Where? Carolina.
The other New York team.
To the Jets. Wow, dude.
I
I
can see
mean,
that.
3 wide receivers and no quarterback. Can one of them guys throw the ball? Can he throw?
at that point-
Your guys' boy is there still. Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's still a
No,
New
he's
York-
a free agent. He's
Well,
not
Still
with the
free
Jets.
agent, yeah.
all right, but you
My
guys keep
boy.
saying that he's going to go back to the Jets. At least I know Andrew.
Once everything-
not that
all
he's
the
gonna
options are
go
off the
back.
table, yeah,
Not that
probably.
he's gonna go back, but I think that's where he would have the
He
most
still hasn't
success.
gone anywhere
Where-
yet.
yeah, he
That's
hasn't
where
gone
he would.
anywhere, yeah.
He's had offers. He just wants more money. They want to
Yeah.
pay him like $8 million, and he wants 18. You know what I mean?
Now, not to interject way too much, but let's move on real quick to these Redskins. What are they doing? They're like playing like burn squad, like Philadelphia. It's like the NFC East like had like an atrocious year, and now New York spending money like they just finally cashed in their inheritance.
They got their income tax return.
Yeah, they got their income tax return. They're buying up people left and right. Philadelphia is firing their coach, their team. And just, it's pandemonium over there. And now what? Washington gets rid of people. They can't lock down their quarterback.
Well, let's talk
And
about
then
their latest person they got rid of. Or lost.
Morris.
They lost Alfred Morris. They could have offered him a better deal, I guess, if they offered him anything.
Yeah.
He has signed with the Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
That's going to be a nice duo, though.
Hey, well, I gotta tell you, man. I mean, he hasn't really done much the past couple years. Only 751 yards last year with 1 touchdown. But Alfred Morris running behind the Great Wall of Dallas, he could really bounce back running behind that line.
I agree.
It's going to be the return of, I know you guys probably don't remember USC football, but Thunder and Lightning.
I know Thunder and Lightning as Ron Dane and Tiki Barber.
Well, I remember Thunder and Lightning as Reggie Bush and Lindell White. Yeah.
No, I got
But,
the little like modeled like Hess truck looking thing with
Okay.
Ron Dane and Tiki Barber on it. Ron Dane, what a bust!
Yeah, right. He was awesome in Wisconsin, though.
Didn't he win the Heisman?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
I think so. But back to your, this division, now that Alfred Morris is there with Darren McFadden, who's usually injury prone when he was in Oakland, he gets to share that backfield with Alfred Morris.
Who's never missed a game, by the way.
Who do you think gets more playing time there?
I'm gonna go Morris.
I think so too.
They like that power scheme.
Yeah,
You got a 2-year deal for
Healthier,
$5.5 million with $2 million guaranteed. Now that's for a guy that's 27 years old, so it kind of makes sense. But where do the Cowboys? Where do you guys think the Cowboys use Alfred Morris? You think he's their number 1 back? Because he's a player
has
on
to
a
be. He has to be, and not
he's
only
on a
that,
steady decline since he was
did
drafted.
have. You're absolutely right.
but he didn't have a line.
Yeah, true. And he did have 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, but he only had 1 touchdown this past year. I mean,
Yeah.
he's definitely been on a downslope, but I mean, the Great Wall of Dallas seems to be back. I hate to say it, but
So we'll see.
it's
downhill running back. I mean, think about
Bad
what,
news for
think about
pretty
what
much
your
everyone
boy-
in the NFL. They're the NFC East except the Cowboys, I guess.
Yeah, think about DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
Think about what
yeah.
he did in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then think about what he did with the Eagles.
So that 2-back system
Chip
is
Kelly,
going to
Dave
work out
Lawrence
really well
crossed
for them
over.
because they're going to have 2 types of runners.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. And they just got to split them up right. I mean, you got your downhill guy, you got your east-west guy. Neither one of them's going to be.
And not only that, you're going to play your matchups.
Neither one of them's. Yeah, absolutely. Neither one of them's going to be the real workhorse. I think Morris will get a little bit more playing time, and his stats might get inflated because he's going to get the goal line carries. He's going to be the touchdown guy.
This is a new pro game. You know, just because you're you're deemed as starting running back does not mean that you're getting the rock every time the ball is going to a running back. You know, there's a lot of talent on these benches, and these coaches are utilizing it, and they're cycling through players because they realize they have to in order to maintain the health of their players and
protect the investment
and protect their team's investment, and with getting all the players that are under contract out there working.
Now let's look at the Washington Redskins draft. Okay, let's rewind. What is that, 4 or 5 years ago? Okay, they draft RG3 with that crazy trade. Then they also draft another quarterback in the same draft, Kirk Cousins, and then Alfred Morris. They have lost 2 out of those 3 players, and they almost lost the third in Kirk Cousins, but now, I mean, he's staying in Washington, but what is going on, Daniel Snyder? You're losing RG3 and Morris. That's terrible for a team. You have to build through the draft. Some people have got to lose their jobs in Washington. RG3
well, they're not going to repeat, that's for sure. So, it gives, if anything, you should be doing this like, oh, thank you. Oh my God! Thank you, Washington. Please let me get a shot at the division again. Thank you.
I don't really like the fact that Morris went over to the Cowboys. I think he would play way better
exactly.
there.
So now you guys got more competition down there coming out of that South.
Yeah, and that would be the team I would be most feared of. RG3 has been meeting with the Browns. What do you guys think about that? We've been talking about this
Texas
on and off.
is representing right now as 2 strong teams. It's looking like with the Texans and those Dallas Cowboys looking pretty strong.
Yeah, but what about RG3 going to the Browns?
What about him?
He met with them.
Oh, well, I think that's where he's going to end up.
That's where I think. Yeah, What do you think, Sean?
I think he's got a chance to go pretty much to any team. Cleveland makes sense because they're that team that's always looking for a quarterback. So,
and then not only that, Brian Hoyer's still there, right?
Yeah, and I think they should.
No, Brian Hoyer's in Houston.
Yeah, that's Texas.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think of who would be his backup then.
Josh McCown,
okay. So that's a decent backup, man.
As far as I know.
So, competition-wise, I could see him being number 1, but...
You need a good backup if you got RG3.
Exactly. So, when you say McCown, I don't know. But you know what, then...
quarterback competition.
But what that means is then they can draft that young guy, a young quarterback in this draft.
Are they going to carry 3 quarterbacks on the roster, sacrifice a special teamer? A lot of teams don't do that anymore.
They're going to have to do something. It's either that or, let the rook, fight for that second spot.
Well, they pretty much have to give it to him. They couldn't cut the rookie. If they drafted one, they can't cut him. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would really be a battle then between RG3 and
squad him, though?
Yeah, well, if they were to do that, it would depend on where they picked a quarterback because he would have to clear waivers first, which means every team would be eligible to grab player X. We're not even putting a name on it, but would be eligible to grab him if they were to cut him, and then he might never make it through to the practice squad.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but thank you. Thank you for filling me in, sir. We got a lot there.
All right, we got a quick little thing here on the Chiefs. Huge blow to one of the dominant linebackers left in this league. Justin Houston, ACL surgery in February, may not take a single snap this coming year. They're saying it wasn't a full tear, but it wasn't functioning properly. He is going to be out 6 to 12 months. He can miss the whole season. If he gets back in 6 months, that's right around, August. So he'll find his way onto the PUP list, physically unable to perform list. But, that's a huge blow for Kansas City.
So that just means them Raiders is going to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, the Chiefs still got people like Tamba Ali and, what's his name, Howard. You know what I mean? They still got a defense there. They definitely still got a defense.
And ACL is a really hard injury to come back from, especially quickly. So if you're putting a 6 month
it is.
a 6 month
To a year.
time frame on that, like, well, yeah, 6 months a year, but you're saying
You
closer
won't
to
know.
6 months than rather a year. That's wishful thinking, I think. That's going to put you right around
He
training
beat
camp.
cancer. He beat cancer.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean
true.
he's going to come back from an ACL that quick.
I know, but
Yeah.
I mean,
And even
That
if you,
dude's a fighter.
even if he comes back and he makes the training camp, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be ready to go week 1 either.
oh, of course, yeah. He looks like even it would probably be a pup listed situation.
Right,
Do you know what I
right.
mean? But let's move on to a segment we haven't done in a little while. We are also going to hit up a 4-minute hut, but before that, let's run through a player card on AJ McCarron. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, Mike Greenberg on ESPN, Mike and Mike, he kicked out the idea a couple days ago. He says, if I'm Cincinnati, I'd be shopping the crap out of AJ McCarron. And then everybody started going, hey, wow, yeah.
Why didn't
that's
I
not
think of that?
Exactly. So let's break down some of his things. Now, first of all, if any team was to acquire him, it would have to be via trade, which means they would take his contract, which I don't think anybody will have a problem with. His number in 2016 is only $645,000. His number in 2017 only $735,000. So you're getting him for nothing. He played in 8 games last year, not including the wild card. Now, he really played in more like 5. It shows up as 8 on the stat line because he came in to like take a knee and stuff like that. But he really played in 5 games plus the playoff game. In the regular season, he threw for 854 yards, 6 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. Playoffs, not so good. 23 for 41, only throwing for 212, a touchdown and an interception. A big reason they lost that game.
Yeah, man, that's yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, because Dalton was sitting on the bench and he had to watch.
Well, basically what happened is on December 13th, Dalton threw an interception during the Pittsburgh game,
Yep.
tried to make the tackle, broke his hand.
Yep.
Now, I mean, he came out of Alabama, you know what I mean? Now, we all like players out of Alabama, but not really quarterbacks. Fun little facts here. McCarron became the first Alabama quarterback to win an NFL game since Jeff Rutledge of the New York Giants in 1987. 1987.
Don't you dare say that you remember that.
No, I was born right there, actually. But,
I know. I'm
so,
just messing with
I
you.
mean, when he was in Alabama, though, I mean, he was a redshirt when they went 14-0. Okay, in
Yeah.
2009 and won the BCS National Championship game. The following year with Alabama, he played in 9 games and threw his first touchdown on the collegiate level to who? Do you know?
No.
23-yard pass, Julio Jones.
Wow.
Nice little name connection right there. Good old Julio.
That's a decent target that to throw to.
Yeah. Now, he was drafted by Cincinnati in the 5th round of the 2014 draft, and he signed a 4-year, $2.4 million contract that he's still under now. That is your player card on A.J. McCarron. Do you think... Now, Cincinnati's shooting down the idea. They're saying, no, we're not interested.
No, they
But
want
come
to
on.
keep him because
Every-
Dalton might go out again.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Isn't every single backup quarterback have a for sale sign like taped to his back a little bit? Like he's a backup quarterback. I mean, if he was the backup quarterback on my team and somebody's offering something valuable for him, I'd ship him out in a heartbeat.
I don't think there's that much marketability for him because, I mean, I know I said it before, like, oh, well, why didn't I think of that? Don't you think if teams were actually interested in him, they would have been ringing the phones down there in Cincinnati?
You never know if it is. It might be, and we got the draft
Well, don't
coming
you
right
think it
around. It
was-
could be a package deal.
Well, don't you think someone would have said something about it by now? I mean, he did play, almost half the season last year.
5 games.
Well, you said 8, but 5. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but he made it into the playoffs. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did
but he
take them
lost.
to the playoffs.
If someone was that desperate for a backup quarterback,
No, but I'm saying as a starter.
you think who out there is
Houston.
actually that?
Houston.
They just got Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
Okay,
They just-
true. All right, plenty more. I mean, we still got. I mean, Kaepernick could be leading the
Cleveland,
Niners.
There's the Jets.
yeah,
there's. I mean,
exactly.
there are teams out there that need.
Totally forgot about
that,
Brock
that
Osweiler.
Honestly.
need a quarterback, but I think if there was that much interest in a guy like AJ McCarron, who, he did play last year and did some things,
There is a
not
team.
necessarily that impressive, but like if there was that much interest in a guy like him, they probably would have already gotten phone calls. I mean, it wouldn't have been Mike Greenberg just like throwing that out there. You know what I mean?
What do you think, John?
I'm gonna throw this out, and it's gonna be somewhat of a little bit of a riddle because we're already like an hour deep into this podcast. So, the Cleveland Browns, okay, would and this is why I say it, because think about this and riddle yourself, okay? Division foe has been taking division for how many years in a row?
What are you?
Cincinnati?
4 straight or something like that?
Yeah, it's about 4 straight.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's taking it, right? And then you got those tough Pittsburgh Steelers in your division.
Yeah, always a
raining
dogfight.
on your parade. And then you got those hard-nosed Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, that's a tough division.
So you want the best quarterback that you can get because you got to be relevant. And the fact that they could get him for a lower price tag if they negotiate right, but then again, Cincinnati won't let him go though because he is a good
too
quarterback.
Valuable to him.
Yeah, he's too valuable because Andy Dalton is, I think he's garbage, honestly.
Really?
Wow.
I think he's garbage because you know what, and this is why. All right, I know. I keep doing this to myself. I really do. I keep making myself look like a jerk, but I guess that works. No, because he has that Tony Romo syndrome. All right, and this is what I call Tony Romo syndrome.
He wins in the regular season, can't win in the playoffs.
Yes, indeed.
Tony's got the one.
You have a great season. It's great. Everybody's riding high on the regular season, and as soon as the playoffs come, you hit the panic button and you fail to show up. What's
just like
going
Andy
on?
Reid most of the time.
Yeah. That dude. Well, at least he made it all the way.
He did make it to the
he
Super
made it
Bowl.
to some NFC champions.
But it would always end
The
with poor
Bengals
clock
haven't
management.
won a thing in the playoffs.
No, they haven't won a
19
game.
years or something like that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it's something real bad. But I mean, I don't know. Do you
They
guys
haven't seen that since the Icky Shuffle.
Do you guys want to save our 4-minute hut, or do you want to hit it up? I think it's a good one, and I think we're how
Let's
long
do
do we
it.
go?
I want to
don't
talk
know.
about this.
Yeah, well, you might as well because I'm sorry guys, but this is we gave you so much content that we're just gonna keep on going and
Why stop now?
All right, we're gonna.
Why stop now?
We'll kind of try and move through this a little bit, but today's 4-minute hut.
4-minute hut.
The what?
The 4-minute hut.
4 minute what?
But today's 4-minute hut is going to be about, I don't know how to title it, teams who finished under 8-8 last year. We're going to give them a pass-fail grade. Pass being above 8-8, fail being below 8-8. We're not going to pick anybody to go 500. So we're going to say if we think these teams are going to get out of the hole or stay in the hole. You guys understand?
Gotcha.
I get it.
We're going to start off now in the AFC East. The only team to finish under 500 is the Miami Dolphins, 6-10. New head coach, John. What do you think?
Pass.
Wait, pass like you don't want to answer, or
No, I think they're gonna pass their.
so they're going to go to at least 9-7.
Yeah, because I think the Jets will fall off this year.
Oh, I completely disagree. I think Buffalo went 8-8 last year. They're going to be right around
They got
there.
Sammy Watkins, too.
7-9, 9-7. The Jets, I think, are going to be a hard-nosed team. New England is always New England. Miami is the Cleveland of the East, in my opinion. Sean,
Fail.
fail. So you agree with me?
I think they go probably another 6-10, 7-9
Dolphins
type
fans, I
season.
tried to stick up for y'all.
No love for Miami. All right, let's kick it back over to the north, where we got Cincy going 12-4, Pittsburgh 10-6. 2 teams under 500, that being the Ravens and the Browns. I say the Ravens bounce back. Cleveland continues to fall on their face miserably.
I agree with you 100%. Baltimore's going to possibly take that division, and Cleveland is still they got to make moves in order to put a team together because they're just they're looking like they did before they lost their team to the Ravens in the first place.
Before we go back to Sean, you said you think the Ravens are going to win the division.
Yes.
That basically means most likely either Pittsburgh or Cincinnati would have to fall off for that to happen.
Exactly, because like I just said, Andy Dalton is trash, and he's not coming back.
See, you were also saying the Steelers were going to have Roethlisberger was going to have his worst year.
Yeah.
So why do you think that the Browns can't go 8-8 then? Or
Why?
9-7?
Because somehow the defenses for both the Bengals and the Steelers find ways to get points.
Okay. Now, Sean, what do you think about Baltimore and Cleveland? Either one of them getting up at least 9-7?
No, I'm going to give them both a fail.
Okay, both with a
That's
fail.
a tough division, and I think Cincinnati and Pittsburgh still are going to be top 2 in that division. I mean, maybe Baltimore bounces back,
And goes
but
9-7.
yeah, but that's the best I can see them going.
All right, when everybody
So,
sees
but I'm
that
still
these
going to give them a fail. I still say they go. What were they last
I
year?
want you guys to mark this and
Cleveland
remember
No,
this.
Baltimore. What were they?
5-11.
Because when Baltimore,
maybe
when
they'll win
Baltimore goes and takes this division, I want you all to look at me like, I hate you.
No, I think Baltimore's
No.
going to bounce back. I don't think they're
I
going to
don't
win the
know.
division.
They're not going to win
They'll
that
take their
division.
division.
That's a tough division. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are still going to be up there.
Okay.
All right, let's move on down south. A real weak division here. Houston took it at 9-7. Indianapolis with the quarterback carousel going 8-8. We're going to include them in this, by the way. Jacksonville Jaguars 5-11. Tennessee 3-13. Colts. The Colts coming back?
Colts, no, they're gonna fail again. Tennessee will take their spot at 500.
Okay.
And Jacksonville's gonna be still down there in the hole. Sorry, in the swamplands.
So pretty much that means, with you saying Tennessee going to 500 and 8-8, none of them have a true winning record then.
No.
And you think
Texans
Houston
are gonna
walks away with it?
Texans gonna run gambit in that division.
What you got in the South?
I think Jacksonville bounces back. I mean, they're a kind of a team that's on the
Rise.
up and they're on the upswing a little bit. I don't think they have a winning record this year. 5-11 is hard to come back from. And then
So it's 3-13.
Yeah.
Which I said the Tennessee Titans are gonna step up to be.
I could see
above
Jacksonville maybe winning a couple more games this year. Tennessee, they got a pretty good young team. I don't see them making it over that Mendoza line, though, so I'm going to give them both another fail.
What are you saying about Indy, though? You think Indy?
Oh, Indy, yeah. I mean, Andrew Luck being out last year definitely hurt them, so I think
Pass.
I'll give them a pass. I
Okay.
think they finished above 500.
All right, let's move on to the AFC West now.
All right, we got Denver going 12-4. We're going to do them as well because they won the Super Bowl. We're also going to do. Let's do that right there. We're going to do Denver
They're gonna
and
fail.
the Panthers.
They're gonna fail.
All right. So you say why? Just because you hate them?
No, they're gonna fail because they lost everybody. They lost their starting quarterback. They lost their backup quarterback.
I'm going to say Denver has a disappointing season and people will consider it a failure. But due to the rules of this exercise, Denver will go higher than 8-8. Therefore, they are a pass in this game. But I don't think they're going to have a great season. But I do think they'll win at least 9 games. What do you think?
Not
about
with
Denver?
the Chiefs in their division, dude.
I think Kansas City wins that division this year. I don't see Denver falling below 8-8 though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Denver's going to win the division. But they're not going below
Their
8-8.
division,
No.
this division, the AFC
still
West
gotta-
is going to finish off just like this.
They
It's
still
gonna
got
be
that defense
Oakland
out
1,
there in Denver.
Cleveland, Kansas City in second, Denver in fourth, and San Diego in third. That's how it's going to finish. That's how I see it. Because Rivers is on the downslope. He's getting old. And now, not only that, he's got Antonio Gates. Is he coming back? Is he going to play?
What
Is he
like
still going to be
35?
effective?
John is over there making some bold predictions.
And they just don't really have. They have a couple. They have a good running back. A young running back that they could probably
Is that
see-
Melvin Gordon?
Yeah, Melvin Gordon. So this is gonna be a second year. Let's see how he does. They have a couple targets out on the edge, but not enough to compete with the rest of these teams in this division. The Kansas City Chiefs got them, and the Oakland Raiders made a lot of big moves, and they got them. So yeah, you're automatically falling to third.
Okay, but I'm going to say, like I said, Denver stays above 8-8, does not win the division. Kansas City will also be 8-8, and possibly.
You think
Is
Kansas
there
City
any
goes
way?
8-8?
No. Above. Kansas City's going to win the division.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
But the
yeah, I
Raiders will be above 8-8 this year. 7-9 last year. Chargers
I like
stay back of the pack. Chargers are not winning.
Oakland's
8 games.
another one of
They're
those
not winning
teams
9 games.
on the upswing.
Definitely. Oakland, Houston, those are teams to watch this year for sure.
Let's move to your guys' division, the NFC East.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go through the whole division. Washington, under 500. Eagles, under 500. Dallas, above Giants above. Sean, argue with me.
You're really going to give the Giants that much credit and hate that much on the Eagles? I still think the Eagles could, I don't want to say win this division, but possibly be there in the wild card hunt.
So you think they'll at least
Like
win
a
9
second
games?
place?
I mean, if you're talking about
9-10. 9-10. You're talking there?
Yeah. Like I'm saying, the Eagles could probably win. They could probably go 9-7. They did add some pieces. You are talking about a rookie coach in Doug Peterson, so you're gonna have to take time to, gel everything down there.
Exactly. They're pressing the reset button
But they
now.
went 7-9 last year. That's
Whole different team, though. It means
it's a whole different. All right, but
It is a whole different team.
That doesn't mean that they can't finish above 500 next year.
Oh yeah, I mean Chip Kelly had them above
right.
500 his first.
I'm going to give the Eagles a pass. They're going
All right.
to
What about
finish above
Washington?
500.
Here, let's do this. Let's do this the most logical way. All right, and I'm sorry that we're rambling on once again, listeners. But all right, best case scenario, worst case scenario for both of your teams. Go.
Worst case scenario, the Eagles finish like 5-11. That's the worst I see them going, because they did add a lot of pieces on defense. They got a new defensive coordinator down there with Jim Schwartz, who's done wonders with every team that he's been on since he left Buffalo, and including Buffalo. I mean, like I said before, rookie coach, that factors into it. Didn't add a lot of pieces on offense. The offense might be a place of some concern, but you're also talking about a fairly weak division there in the NFC East. So the Eagles, and they do have a tough schedule next year, because I think they do play the AFC North next year, and I don't know who they play in the NFC, but I think they would have a easier schedule because of their record last year. But I still think that they can finish at least 9-7, which in that division could possibly put you in a wild card spot, or even maybe win that division.
Oh yeah, 9-7. 9-7 could take the East.
All
Probably.
right. So what about your Giants?
All right. Worst case scenario, Ben McAdoo falls on his face. Steve Spagnuolo can't fix the defense. We put all this money into free agency, all on the defensive side of the ball. If anything goes bad on defense, that is a worst case scenario. Okay.
Yeah. So what's the record? Worst case scenario.
Best case scenario. Oh, worst case scenario. You
Worst
want
case
me to be
scenario.
honest?
Yeah. What
If
that
our
situation goes
free
at? What's your
agent-
record going to be?
Absolutely terrible. I'm going to give you 5-11.
5-11.
All right. Now, if Spags fixes this defense and these free agents come into play, and we could stop this damn run, and we get a real right guard, maybe even our 7th round draft pick Bobby Hart from last year, Giants go 10-6.
Okay.
10-6. First year head coach, 10-6.
All right. So then you're saying
Best case scenario.
what about these Cowboys?
Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are the front runner for the division, especially I
agree.
did not like Morris on Washington anymore. Now that he's on Cowboys, it's kind of scary.
That makes the Cowboys, it makes them a little bit scarier. They dealt with a lot of injuries last year, I think, and they went 12-4 the year before. I think they're probably the front runner to win the division. So I'm going to have to say Eagles pass, Cowboys pass, and then what was the other team?
Washington and Giants.
Yeah.
Giants. I'll give them a pass also.
Like a 9-7.
Like a 9-7. That's going to be a competitive.
whole
It's going to
division.
be a competitive division, I think, this year.
But we got 2 more to hit, and we're really running out of time. Let's get through. Or no, we got 3 more to hit. Let's do these quick. I'm just gonna say the teams. Let's run through them. Detroit went 7-9. They're losing Megatron. I'm saying fail. Chicago 6-10. Still got Cutler. I'm saying fail. What do you think, John?
Chicago's going to fail because John Fox is a failing coach. And the Detroit Lions are also going to fail because they lost a lot of players. I'm sorry. And not only that, Matthew Stafford couldn't even get Megatron into the Hall of Fame on first ballot. So then you're only going downhill from here, homie. So bye-bye.
Chicago on the line, Sean.
I agree on both of John's points. I actually have a bet going on with a buddy of mine down at Mother's, who we're going to be doing a live show with probably in a couple months. $50 that the Lions will finish better than the Eagles.
Okay. I would probably. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. We don't have enough time. Okay, so New Orleans and Tampa. I'm going to say Tampa. Jameis Winston gets things rolling early like he did last year, but this time it keeps going. I'm going to give them a pass. New Orleans is over. Drew Brees is over. Sean Payton is over. Fail.
Can I say like a break even. I think
Nope, no pushes, no 8 and 8.
no pushes. All right, well then I'm gonna have to
No.
give Tennessee a fail. I think
You mean Tampa?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, Tampa and
Tampa
New
a
Orleans.
fail because I think they, as much as they're probably another one of those teams that might be on the upswing, they got a ways to go before
you're right.
before they're actually there.
right.
Yeah,
So
they're not as lucky as
I'll give them
Houston
at least.
and
They
Raiders.
might finish 7-9. Maybe they finish 8-8. But I'm not going to say they're going to finish it with a winning record. At least not yet.
How about the Saints?
They're a fail.
Okay.
As a fan of this division, the Saints, I could see them making little to actually a digression from last year, and Tampa Bay taking their spot. So I'm going to say Tampa Bay passing, and the Saints failing.
All right, now we'll go over to the West, and then we're going to have to wrap things up. San Francisco went 5-11. I think they go 4-12. Nothing is working out there. Quarterback doesn't want to be there. Don't like Chip Kelly. They're a fail. St. Louis, I'm going to put them right back at their 7-9. That's where they always go.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put the St. Louis at 0 because St. Louis doesn't have a team.
Oh, all right. L.A.
And I could see them. I could see them passing this year because I think Seattle's going to fall off this year.
Ooh, okay. I wish we had some more time on that. But Sean, Saints and the Niners.
Do you mean
Pass or fail, Saints, or not Saints.
L.A. and San
Why did they have to
Francisco.
move? Why did they have to move? Now I'm calling them the Saints. St. Louis, now L.A., the Rams, and San
Rams
Francisco.
fail, Niners fail?
Same, yeah, okay.
All
I
right.
think the Rams will be right around 500 with Jeff Fisher, as he always is. But that is going to wrap it up for today. Remember, head over to the YouTube channel. Head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean. We're everywhere.
Give us love.
likes, give us subscribes, comments. We'll get back to you. Sean, you got anything before we get out of here, man?
Nope.
Okay, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. We are out of here. Catch you later.